William Garcia is chair of the 3rd Congressional District Democratic Party and is a candidate for chair of the Wisconsin Democratic Party, with Ben Wickler stepping down. Convention delegates from around the party will gather in Wisconsin Dells in mid-June to choose their next party chair. William Garcia, good morning. Thank you for being here. Are you with us, William?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yep. No, nice to have you here. I think we have a slight delay in my apologies.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you just fine. We have a little delay there, but let me put it out rather generically here and say, William, first off, make your pitch. Why'd you decide to run, and what do you think you would bring to the position of Democratic state chair?
I'm running because there is a disconnect between the state party and local county parties that must be fixed for the long-term health of the party. Basically, we're getting a lot of information and directives in a really top-down approach from the state party. That means the state party tells us exactly how to organize. They do all of our messaging. They basically tell us what to do. But they're not listening all the time to local people on the ground who know better how to talk to people in their community and how to organize in their community. Some examples. As chair of the 3rd city, I'm in charge of a lot of rural areas. We have rural areas where, when we tell organizers to go door knock, it takes them an hour to knock 4 doors. And we have local people on the ground saying this is not an effective way of communicating and connecting with voters. There are better ways. So I am running in order to realign the state party to listen to county parties about how to do messaging and how to do organizing in their area. So I've essentially have a 3-word platform: grow, persist, resist. Grow means I want to grow the county parties by giving them resources, tools, and infrastructure in order to talk to voters in their area in a way that will connect with voters and bring people into the party year-round. Persist means I want to keep doing the great things that DPW already does. Things like fundraising. Wisconsin Democratic Party is a fundraising juggernaut, and I want to continue that progress. We desperately need those funds. I also want to persist in keeping the media focused on Wisconsin. Ben Wickler was incredible about going around the country and talking about what's happening in Wisconsin and why it's important. I also think DPW does a really great job of working with our candidates in the Assembly and the Senate, the state Senate, and I want to continue that close relationship. And finally, resist. I have to say, I've been disappointed with some of the national Democrats leaders who have been very timid in the face of Trump. I intend to be the strongest, loudest voice in Wisconsin against the Trump agenda and Republican policies that are hurting Wisconsin families. And that's basically my pitch.
It's a very healthy pitch, one from William Garcia, who chairs the 3rd Congressional District Democrats and is running for state party chair. And Tony puts up on YouTube, I love the idea of year-round organizing. It's something that I have been talking about for nearly 20 years here. And I know other people are having discussions, even as we speak, coming out of this last cycle, about year-round organizing, not just parachuting in at campaign time. And you, as somebody outstate, clearly have some thoughts on the need to do that all throughout Wisconsin.
So when we talk about year-round organizing, the first thing we have to do is redefine what organizing is. Right now, with the Democratic Party, organizing is essentially 2 things: the numbers of doors knocked and the numbers of phones called. And that is basically how we are defining organizing. Now, that definition of organizing does not work in a year-round context. Because why on earth would I call someone right now and tell them to, vote for, so-and-so in 2026? The person is just going to be befuddled and slightly annoyed to be getting that phone call. What year-round organizing should mean is bringing people into the county parties. That's what real year-round organizing is giving strength and power and true agency to local parties so that they can work in their community year-round. Community service, community activism, working with our local politicians to get things done. And then by increasing the engagement at the local level, we increase our volunteer base, we increase our enthusiasm about the Democratic Party at the local level, and then when it does come time to knock on doors and make phone calls, we're not parachuting in. We are established in the community already. We're talking to people that we've talked to before, and that's how true year-round organizing is going to function.
And that's exactly what's being talked about by folks throughout Wisconsin, William Garcia among them, a candidate for Wisconsin Democratic Party chair, who we are talking to this morning. Saturday is Independent Bookstore Day across the country, certainly here in Wisconsin. On Monday, we had author Laura Bird on to talk about the reasons why you should support your independent local bookstore. And in our daily newsletter that you can get at upnorthnewswi.com, today's newsletter talks all about some of the great independent bookstores around Wisconsin, the value of supporting them, some banned books that you could be reading to thumb your nose at certain people that want to restrict what you can see. All that, plus veterans talk about being fired after serving their country by the Trump administration. All that and more in our newsletter. Sign up over at upnorthnewswi.com. Let's take care of some housekeeping here on the text line from Jim in Brookfield. Best wishes on the new format. I'm looking forward to listening during the extra hour. Glad to hear you will continue to provide updates from Rob and Tigerton. I enjoy hearing those, listening in Southeast Wisconsin, because they make me feel connected to up north. So please keep that aspect of your show. Thank you very much. Hey, we appreciate that. And then we mentioned earlier, Randy in Madison asked a question about, the show changing and what about the podcast? And he wanted me to clarify, will it be on the same feed where we've been getting our podcasts? And I don't know the answer for sure. I would assume it's the same because all we're doing is changing the name that's on it. But don't hold me to it, because this is something I'll definitely need to double check. But hopefully you're still getting it the same way that you've always received Up North News Radio, but just instead with a whole new name here. Look at this. Just in from Luke Mathers, text message from him. Yes, same podcast feed. John in Oshkosh asked, does Earl have any regular programming available? He will in time. Again, we're letting him and Chad and others get started on some special projects to broaden our focus, broaden their range of reporting and conversations. And so be on the lookout for that. Apparently, with them getting the new projects, they said, well, somebody's got to yap for 3 hours. And apparently that's me. Apparently I have this gift of gab. And I'm going to prove it by talking for a few more minutes here with William Garcia, who's a chair for State Democratic Party of Wisconsin. You folks on social media, you're seeing his video, but we're hearing him on the phone line here. So William, thanks for sticking around with us here. Can you talk a bit about the support that you're receiving so far? Because there are three candidates for sure right now for state party chair. They're starting to tout their endorsements and things like that. What can you tell us about your level of support to this point?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. Most of my support is coming from county chairs who agree with me that people are that DPW is just not listening to them, and especially that they don't have a seat at the table with big decisions that DPW is making. So people like the chair of Eau Claire County, the chair of Grant County, the chair of Adams County, where I was just yesterday. So I'm getting a lot in, especially people that really know me and have been working with me a long time as third CD chair and also as La Crosse County chair, are very much behind me because they really know that this is something I can do well.
This is a real concern of mine, and here's a role that I don't talk about from a past life. After serving as a legislator, after being a candidate for Congress, I was later chair of the Chippewa County Democratic Party, and then later served as state chair of the Association of County Chairs. So all the county chairs in the state, I led that group for a short time right before we decided let's start Up North News instead. So I am extremely sympathetic and understanding of what county chairs are saying around the state, that they are the backbone or the heartbeat, whatever you want to call it, of the party. And sometimes it's not so much just a Madison-Milwaukee disconnect, but a disconnect from what some would call, say, the consultant class or whatever you want to call it. So I hear that in you. And so the question isn't, are you right or wrong? The question is, How do you bridge that to people who are not necessarily thinking about the party apparatus in greater Wisconsin?
Well, the first thing I want to do is point out one true but terrifying fact, and that is that one day, and hopefully that day will happen because the Democratic Party has been so successful in the long term in Wisconsin. But one day, Wisconsin will no longer be the closest swing state in the country. That distinction will go somewhere else. And when that happens, a significant amount of the money that is being poured into Wisconsin is going to go away. And if we have let county parties wither and die on the vine by using all of this money and building a completely separate organizing structure from the county parties, we are in massive amounts of trouble. And that's why I say that this is a problem that must be fixed for the long-term health of the party. We need a system that is vibrant and alive, whether or not we are getting huge donation dollars. Now, I want to bring in the huge donation dollars. I want to be real clear on that. I am
Yes.
signing up for a significant amount of fundraising. That's going to be my life when I'm chair. But we need to build a system that can survive without it.
Right, because again, the things have changed all along, but there is this mindset of, well, do you go looking for that one needle in the haystack outstate, one or two more votes, or do you try to squeeze one or two more Democratic votes out of your larger cities, Madison, Milwaukee, Eau Claire? Again, I'm not here to judge that one is right or wrong, but you'd be wrong to focus on just one or the other.
Right, you have to do both. And that's why I'm talking about giving local counties more control over things like messaging. The message that works in Milwaukee is not the same one that works in Jackson County. And so what we need to be providing is messages that work in both and letting the county party say, this is a message that's going to talk to voters in my neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And then we can disseminate from there. There are great things to talk about with Democrats. And why on earth are we not, for instance, right now in rural areas, why are we not blasting rural radio about all of the Trump policies that are hurting Wisconsin farmers? Happening all the time. We're not even talking about it.
No, and which is, again, part of where I'm thankful for Up North News and Civic Media, but there's more work to be done. William Garcia, one of the candidates for Wisconsin Democratic Party Chair. William, thank you so much. Good to talk to you again.
Have a great day. Thanks so much.